start tonight, we're going to have the invocation, and Reverend Knox Bullock is going to do that for us. He's from the Woodland Bible Church, and we're going to have the pledge, and I get to lead it tonight, so you all stand with us. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You'll remain standing, please. Knox, one of our utility people, is having some medical problems. I don't want to say any names, but I'd like for you to remember one of our utility people.
Okay. Father, we thank you for this day that you've given to us, another day to honor you and serve you. Thank you for the blessings that you have given to each one of us. Thank you for our city of Connersville, and thank you for our mayor and our city council. And we're asking that you would bless them and give them direction as they make decisions that will impact this community. And I pray that you would help our community to continue to strengthen and go forward. Now you know about this utility worker who's having some medical problems, and I pray that you would be with them and touch them and help, we pray. Thank you, Lord, for your grace and for your goodness to us. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Call the meeting to order. Our first order of business will be if you'll check your phones, be sure that the ringers are off. And put them on mute or whatever you can do with them. Second order of business, we'll have the roll call.
Councilwoman Risch. Present. Councilman Weber.
Present.
Councilman Schomel.
Present.
Councilman Nobby.
Present.
Councilwoman Montgomery.
Present.
Councilman Creech.
Present.
Councilwoman Seiler.
Present.
All 7 council people are here. We have a quorum and we can do business. Welcome everybody tonight to come to this meeting. It's going to be really short. Looks like we only got 3 or 4 things on here unless one of us gets too talkative.
One of us.
One of us. I'll take a motion to adjourn. I'd like to have the reading of the minutes of the March 16, 2015 regular meeting.
I move that we accept the minutes as they've been presented to us.
Second.
Motion and a second to accept the minutes as they were sent out to the council people. Are there any additions or corrections? None appearing, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Under new business, we have Resolution 2015-14, reimbursements into the police in cable TV and first aid, and I presume that's all telephone? Is it?
Telephone and clothing uniforms for the
Okay.
first aid.
Taking money back in shouldn't be very hard to do.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Can we take all these together?
It's only one time.
Oh, I was reading this one. Sorry about that. I'd like to make a motion to pass resolution 2015-14.
Second.
Motion and second to accept Resolution 2015-14, reimbursement into police, cable, TV, and first aid. That would be $523.47, $30.03, $27.30. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Pending ordinance 3154. This is changing the speed limit on Virginia Avenue from 24th to 27th Street to 20 miles per hour. And can you give us a short explanation why?
I had some complaints up there, from some of the neighbors up there, saying, I had a little girl hit by a car, I think it was last summer sometime. And they, just feel like a lot of people drive too fast up through there. You can't, 2 cars can't pass, and people park on both sides. They have to pull over and one go past and everything else. 30 mile an hour, and so I did a speed survey up there. And, at 3 different times. And for instance, on this one date, on March 18th, out of 18 cars, 11 out of 18 were speeding. And then another date.
More than 30 mile an hour.
More than 30 mile an hour. And then on the 17th, same, that was out of 18 cars, or excuse me, that's out of 18 cars that passed in 1 hour. Then 25 cars passed another time, and it was 12 out of 25 cars in 1 hour. And the other one was 11 out of 25. And these are all 3 different times of days and different, some on a weekend, one was on the weekend, stuff like this. Summer's coming on. That's just a complaint that was made to us, you know, from a couple of neighbors. And really, that complaint came last summer, but I've talked to the one complainant several times since then. And so I finally got up there and got the survey, and that's what we come up with. And so it's up to the council what they want to do. If you're familiar with 24th Street up to 27th Street, it is pretty congested in there. It's 30 mile an hour, but like I said, not quite half the cars were, well, one of them was, yeah, about half was speeding. So whatever the
There's
council.
24, a four-way stop at one of those intersections, Chief.
No, there's no there's only 2 streets coming out there, and one's 25th Street and one's 26th Street, and they got stop signs.
And why didn't you go to 30th with the
No.
increase? Why didn't you go to 30th? Why did you stop?
Because it
at
jogs
27th?
off of 27th, it jogs over, and it's a
Okay.
lot wider in there.
Okay.
And
And-
some of that area is four-way stop, isn't it, from
Yeah.
27th to 30th on Virginia?
Well, it's jogged, so it's stopped on both there, yeah, it's not like right across the street from one another, you have to take a jog
Isn't
and
there
come up.
four-way?
It's not a four-way, it's a one-way, or it's just a.
Like at 28th or 29th in Virginia?
There is a four-way there,
Yeah.
and there's a four-way at 29th, yeah, 28th, 29th.
So there
But
would,
down through there, we have stop signs coming out, but none for stopping in between, so it's whatever the council.
How about a great big speed bump?
Pardon?
No, Mr. Mayor? I
Hey, Gabe, what do you
lived
think about that idea?
I think
up- I lived up in that area Dave was talking about, and when they have cars parked on both sides, I don't think 2 cars can pass.
They can.
I think it's an excellent idea. And no speed bumps, Gary.
No,
A
it's a
speed table.
big one.
I think it's an excellent idea.
Is that a motion?
Absolutely.
Second.
We got a motion that we listen to the speed thing that was done and the speed study, and that we reduce the speed up there to 20 mile an hour from 24th to 27th on Virginia Avenue. Everybody knows what we're talking about? Any problem with it?
I don't know about changing the speed limit. You're going to get people from stop speeding, though. I mean, if they're speeding already, you just
No,
change it. Now they're
I
speeding.
think what he's aiming at, the speed limit's 30 now and they're speeding. We get them down to 20, when they speed, they'll be up to 30. Gonna slow them down 10. And gonna write some tickets up there, I presume.
We'll try, yeah, we'll do our best. Yeah, when I got extra people out there run radar, they like places like that, so.
Okay. Discussion on pending ordinance 3154? Any discussion? Ready for the question? Okay, we have a roll call vote.
Councilwoman Rish? Yes. Councilman Weber?
Yes.
Councilman Shomel?
Yes.
Councilman Nabi?
No.
Councilwoman Montgomery?
Yes.
Councilman Creech?
Yes.
Councilwoman Seiler?
Yes.
Okay, it looks like 6 yeses, 1 no, the motion carries. Would you like to suspend the rules and move on and consider it on third and final reading?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second that we suspend the rules and consider pending ordinance 3154 on third and final reading. This is an ordinance that would reduce the speed from 30 to 20 on the street from 24th Street to 27th Street on Virginia Avenue. Any discussion? Okay. On suspension of rules only, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed, you may move forward and consider it on third and final reading.
Second.
Got a motion and a second that we consider pending ordinance 3154 on third and final reading. And I'm not going to go through what it is, I've told you 3 times, so everybody ought to know. Any discussion? None? Roll call vote.
Councilman Weber?
Yes.
Councilman Shomel?
Yes.
Councilman Nabi?
No.
Councilwoman Montgomery?
Yes.
Councilman Creech?
Yes.
Councilwoman Seiler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rish?
Yes.
The vote is still 6-1. We passed out third and final reading. We have to advertise the change. Right, John?
Yeah.
How many times, John?
One.
one time in the paper before you can change it, chief. Okay, David? Okay. Okay, under old business, I've got a couple items here. Ruby, I think at the last meeting, which I wasn't here, you asked about the pending lawsuit against the city by 3 of the utility workers. There has been a settlement agreed upon. The insurance company is going to pay. They bargained with the utility workers, and they're paying. And in order to read it into the record, Clerk Treasurer, I am pleased to report that the plaintiffs have accepted an offer of settlement, your first convenience, for convenience. These checks were issued $7,950.93 to David Nutty, $2,834.40 to Mary Ellen Blanton, and $2,751.60 to Karen Lohr. They will prepare a release and get the release signed by each of the claimants, and that should be the end of this issue. Any questions?
My question just asked who was the 3 people. That's what I wanted to know, who was the 3 people.
I gave you the names.
Yeah,
And I
right.
did it in public, that's what I have to do.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. Any questions? So this issue's dead. I'll copy that. Other old business, ballpark. The committee has been negotiating with the people that own the land. You guys met in executive session to talk about it, and they have made an offer, and the people that own the land are contemplating the offer, and on Friday, is that the day? He said today at the meeting. I think Friday they will have the answer whether they'll accept the offer. So that is being looked at, okay?
So
made
are
the
you,
offer?
since you brought it up in a public meeting, can you tell the folks what you're talking about?
Yes, I think we can. As you all know, we're trying to move the Babe Ruth field up on the hill where the soccer field is. And as you know, we don't have the money to do it. But we're working on some grants, and I think, Mr. Baker, most of the money's been found. Is that right?
Well, we have a environmental trust that was transferred to the city having to do with the landfill on the river. The city had paid $100,000 into that trust, and it can be used only for environmental issues or matters that would be good for the environment and clean up the environment. And as we all know, that there's flooding there every year, which is not good. They tell us that's bad for anyone that's down there, especially around the swampy time, you know, when it's wet in the spring. And I think that's an environmental issue, which it fits within the language of what the money can be used for by the city.
And you
John?
feel that it can be used for that?
Yeah.
This
John,
is
before this gets too far, I don't know how much money we're talking about, but by the city being under financial constraints, how can this happen right now?
Well, the money can't be used for anything else but environmental issues.
this isn't money set aside for small is that correct?
Well, the small ways and any other environmental issue. The language is so broad, it actually includes Vistion cleanup, which we never used. That was paid from other entities. But obviously, that's an environmental cleanup. But it's the third amendment to a consent decree with IDEM. It was entered into several years ago. The money's been there, not been used, and it seems to me that a good use of it would be to get and the mayor, I think, is certainly agreeable with it, to get the ballpark out of the floodplain swampy area that it is in now. The land would then revert to the utilities for their purposes.
That's where the wellheads are. The other thing is, there's a grant goes along with this. We're not taking a lot of money out of that fund. There's a grant, and I'm not at liberty to announce that grant yet, but there's a grant, so the land will go all the way to the river, and the river walk will go along. Kids will be able to play along the river, go fishing. It'll be all part of the ballpark.
I understand that, but I mean, I'm not trying to be negative, but we're in financial constraints right now.
Well, if we could,
But
we
hear
would.
me out. Good, and we had a ballpark where I played and my kids played down behind Roberts Park for 13, 15-year-olds. And we moved it down to River Bottom. We have property north end of town where I was raised. It's really not being utilized. And I don't mean to be negative, just think about this, guys. We have fewer and fewer kids are participating in the baseball programs, and it's going way south of town. I mean, it's just something to think about. And what it costs to put lights in and the proper dirt and purchase the ground. I mean, I'm just saying, think about it. That's all I'm saying.
So your concern is not just purchasing the land, but what's required to establish a field?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm
That
not
will
sure.
have to be done with grants. That can't be done with this money.
well, I understand that, Your Honor. I'm just saying, gee, I don't want to, I don't know how much money you're talking about. When we purchased this grant, or this ground, with money I don't think we really have, and then hope we get grants.
What's in that fund? A
600,000.
little over 600,000. 250,000 of that has to be set in a special account for repair of landfill. So the rest of that can be used in environmental issues, which the committee, and of course, I thought all of you were on board. We've been wanting to move that ballpark. We've been trying to do it for 2 or 3 years. It's not only the environmental issue, but it's the issue every time it floods, it costs the
Oh,
city a
absolutely. I
bundle of
understand.
money.
I understand that.
In a matter of a few years, you get your money back. I mean,
understand
it knocks fences down, knocks everything down, knocks the lights out.
But then when you're talking about purchasing ground, how much is, I mean, how are you talking about this?
I'm not at liberty to tell you. I think that 130,000, John, is coming out of that fund.
You know, it all depends on what the land's purchased for, of course, and that's.
Well, yeah, they're negotiating that, but there's a grant purchasing a good part of the ground, but not quite enough.
Who was on the committee? Who's this committee that you're speaking of?
Yeah, Ron Coldiron has headed the thing up because he's been negotiating with the owners, and you've been working on that, man?
No, but has Mike Winter been involved?
Mike Winter has. He's been working on it.
And,
Mike thinks that there's money that we can get in grants from Major League Baseball grants. He was here today, and who's the other individuals working on that?
I can't come up with it, Your Honor. I don't know.
Mr. Mayor, I just hate that seems to think. That's very iffy to me.
What's that?
The grants. He seems to think he can get grants.
No. Oh, yeah, that's,
That's
Yeah, I
very
mean, we're not-
iffy to me.
You know.
you'd have to do this in
Kids.
stages. You can't,
But if we buy the ground and then have no money to make the ball diamonds or get it ready, where are we?
well, the plan was to move it within 2 to 3 years, use the bleachers from over there, use the lights from over there, to use our own people and move those things up there, and then get enough money out of these major league. There's somebody else that's working on grants too,
Yeah.
that there are grants available for ballparks once you own the land.
I absolutely understand, because like I said, I played there in the 50s, and I understand it being moved. I'm just saying, if in any way possible, we could utilize properties that we already own. That's all I was saying, Your Honor.
I suppose, John, the city council could just stop the whole thing if they wanted to. Is that,
Well, yeah, they have to approve the purchase
yeah.
by resolution.
I don't have any kids playing over there, and I can't even throw the ball from
Well, I'm not saying about,
down there to.
I'm just saying about the expense and utilizing that some properties we already have and the declining participation that there already is and the unknowns of purchasing ground for several $100,000 and developing it. And that's my only issue, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if we continue to operate the present location, doesn't some storm work have to be done down there?
Yeah, if we get the ballpark out of there, I'm told, Brad, you can help me better with that. You want to come up here a minute? Explain to the folks what this will save in money, or roughly what it'll save in money.
We have a estimated $200,000 storm separation project that we have to do with the ballpark if they keep playing ball there.
I see.
If they don't play ball there, we don't have to do it.
Right.
There you go.
And if we also need to do a project on Water Street Lift Station that is caused by all that water that goes from Little League over to that lift station. So I don't know yet what that's going to get into.
Now, Brad, you had said, and help me out on this, I think you had said that, do we not have a couple of wells that we have to keep secured? in that
Our
area?
well situation is not all that great down there. It could be a lot more secure than it is
Okay, okay,
because of Little League and all the people that are down there.
good. Okay. Dave, how about the FOP? Is that? did that involve-
It floods every once in a while.
Okay, okay, okay. Because I know you guys had a shooting range down there and so forth. Okay,
This, you know,
okay,
this will not take place unless this grant comes through, because the grant's paying for the bulk of the land. And it's the land that'll connect to the soccer field. It'll actually connect to the soccer field. But if if you guys feel that way, there's no point in beating our head against the wall trying to get this done. I thought this was something you wanted
well,
to do.
I would just, my concern was our financial situation at this present time. And I didn't think we could even think about affording to do something like this. I mean, without, like I say, when we have the property behind the park that used to be a ball field there, and that's 13, 15-year-olds play there. And you have an area in the north end of town, Office Park, that's not being utilized. I mean, I'm not trying to be negative, and I understand about getting the ball fields out of there. And, you know, we're talking about 5 weeks that they play there. Am I right? Gabe, you got kids on there?
They use it off and on for about 8 weeks, 10
Yeah.
weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
They got their
I mean, just
tournaments.
food for thought.
Ruby, you might, how do you feel about this? I want to tell this committee, quit working if that's the way you guys feel. I thought everybody was on board. I thought this was what they wanted done. We've had a committee working on this for what, 2 years?
Yes, I think so. What are the plans for if the present field will be abandoned, what happens to that ground?
Nothing, it'll just be farm ground. Right, Brad? Farm ground.
And ownership will be transferred to?
The city. It is the city's.
But the city will sell it?
No, I don't think we want to sell it. I think we want to continue to own it and probably rent it
I see.
for farm ground.
Okay.
And if it's farm ground, it doesn't have to be drained, right? That's why we, so if you save a couple $100,000 over there, don't have to separate it, and you protect your wells, and you get your kids out of the hole, I don't know, it seems sensible to me. If you don't want to do it, it's fine, but we need to stop it now, because a lot of people have done a lot of work on this.
I don't see how we can afford it. We're talking about we don't have money. I know we're gonna get grants, but that, still, you're gonna have to put a lot of time and equipment in it. And you take away from the people going down there doing it.
Debbie, how do you feel?
Well, when we talked about it before, we weren't in a financial emergency, or at least we hadn't been told we were in a financial emergency. So I think the situation's different. But I don't have kids that play ball, so I don't know.
Gabe?
Mine are of the edge to play ball. They just don't at this point. I don't know. I'd like to see a cost benefit analysis. I'm kind of a visual guy, so if I could see it on paper, what's it going to save as compared to what we're going to cost, I'd like to see something like that. At this point, I couldn't make a decision.
Well, of course, we're not asking for any decision, that all we're doing is
I just like
telling
to
you
see some sort of cost
this is
benefit analysis. I
information.
mean, if it's going to save us money in the long run, yeah. I mean, let's make some sense. But if it's going to cost us more in the short term, then or just cost us more in general, I don't know if that's the move to make. I just like to see it kind of all laid out for them.
There never has been a plan to take 1 penny of city money and put into it. Never has. The grant was offered to us to buy the land and on up the hill, if we would buy the rest of the
Well,
land.
we still be putting money in because we're gonna take money from that Smallies fund, which that could be used to upgrade that over there if we so desired. So, I mean, it is gonna take money from the city. It is gonna take it from the general fund. No, it's not. But you know, I just like to see a cost benefit.
Fran, how do you feel?
Well, I'm all for improving things that we can, but again, as Tom pointed out, it isn't used all that much. It's not a year-round event, but I think we should continue investigating it and see where it plays out. As Mr. Baker pointed out, we have money that cannot be used for other things, so as long as the city doesn't go into a whole lot of debt, that kind of concerns me. Mike Wynn is very confident that Major League Baseball will come along with grants. I know he's stated several times that Major League Baseball encourages this, and they do award grants. So whether to stop it, I'm not sure if we should stop it at this point. I think we should proceed to see if it's feasibly possible financially.
Dr. Liver?
I feel the same way, except that, a friend of mine used to run the concession stand down there. When it would flood, I mean, you're eating food out of that place. I mean, and you're talking about the mud they would have to shovel out of there, not just once, but multiple times, and it's a terrible place to play ball when it's nasty. And if we have this money and we have grant money, and then I say it's really a no-brainer. We've got to get, I'm surprised somebody didn't get really sick. I suppose you could get sick from some of that. So like Fran said, continue to see what we can do. I don't want it to stop. I mean, there's no reason to stop.
Yeah, we're not spending any money.
Yeah. So I think we need to investigate and get all our numbers.
Connie?
Well, first of all, I guess I'm kind of shocked that it's like brought up, in the lieu of the financial emergency. I mean, it's kind of been dead for a while. I have to kind of agree with Tom because there's so many unused fields. Everybody likes to be involved in a brand new project, and this would be something, a new facility, a new area that we would have to staff with mowers. It'd be another place that we have to take care of, ongoing. And those, that staff is ongoing. And then as far as the money for Smalley's Lake, I know we're kind of slow on the trail project, but I sort of thought that was sort of, I think you're kind of stepping on toes there with money that was kind of maybe going with those directions.
It could be.
There was a $750,000 plan presented to us to do that at Smalley Lake, and we went down there and made trails around there, and did it all with our own people. And I still don't think we should spend $750,000 down there.
No, but we could also upgrade our trail system that we got. I mean, we've
Well,
talked about it for a
that's
while.
what this grant was to do that. This grant brings the trail on down there.
Yeah, and I know there's some things in the works there. So I mean, I'm not saying we don't do it. I just think we need to see it on paper, kind of written out. I think we should move forward and investigate. Investigating doesn't cost anything, and then once we get to the point to make a decision, then we need to make that decision. We just need a few more facts in front of us before we make a good decision.
Does that money have to be appropriated?
I'm not sure. I'll have to check into.
Money have to be appropriated, John, or just used on the fund?
Well, it's not in the general fund.
And that doesn't really matter, but it's in kind of a restricted because it can only be used for certain things.
That's right.
Most of the time, restricted money doesn't have to be appropriated, but.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with Julie and then defer to her on that question because I'm not sure. I would respect her opinion.
wasn't the agreement with the court that we would lay away 250,000?
There's language in the amendment to the third consent decree with item in the federal court, but I can't remember. I didn't bring it with me,
Okay, we probably ought to look at laying away that money in a restricted fund by itself.
possibly. Yeah. Or
That was
leave it
in case an electric stove popped out of the bank or something like that, we could go down and fix it.
Of course not.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
So when you say appropriate, doesn't need to be appropriated, does that mean it won't need to be voted on?
Yeah, if it doesn't need to be appropriate, we don't. But there again, I would not do this unless the city council wants it done. I wouldn't do it. You know, I thought this was what you were pushing to get done.
but this is the first time I've heard about it, you know, I know we talked
Well,
about
this has
getting
been going on
fixed,
for about 2 years, Ruby. We've had reports, and we
Right.
knew we didn't have any money. And then they came
Well,
up
just-
with,
yeah.
this grant is pretty much a sure thing. It's, do you know what it is, the amount of money? The grant? A benefactor is buying a good part of the land.
Mr. Mayor, I'm just wondering why we didn't know anything about this grant
We-
until now, and now we're supposed to make a decision just off the top of
No,
our
there's no
head.
decision to be made.
Okay.
And when I had you in executive session, I told you they were negotiating on land. Do you remember that? That's only been 3, 4 weeks ago. Nobody said anything then, and we were negotiating the land. Everybody was favorable. But of course, no decision's been made.
Yeah, but the majority of the conversation was geared towards utilities, not ballpark.
no, that's what I thought.
I think ballpark might have been one word.
Well, I think that we won't do anything tonight because we're not spending any money, we're not doing anything. I just wanted some direction after I heard Tom. Well, we'll see where it goes. Other old business, did I miss something? Oh, we're going to, we talked about having a heavy trash day at the Board of Works, where we would let people bring couches and beds and all that stuff that we generally collect ourselves. We talked about just having a heavy trash day on Friday and Saturday free. So maybe we could encourage people to bring stuff down there, and we wouldn't have to haul it because that's where the money comes in. However, we probably will spend a good bit of money hauling that stuff to Caldwell's. So,
If I may.
yeah.
Okay. I talked to the mayor recently. I'd had several people call me and asked if we were gonna have a heavy trash we had in the past. And ran through some of my numbers. And I told the mayor when David's guys picked this up, our cost is a little over $10,000. Plus his fuel, manpower, Last year, the mayor and the Board of Public Works came up with a great idea. Well, we called it Free Friday, and the mayor said, well, let's try it Saturday morning also. And what we do, if you live inside the city limits of Connersville, you can bring one pickup truckload of trash to the transfer station, prove identity, free of charge. That's no construction waste, no tires, no appliances. And it worked out pretty good, and we also extended it 4 hours Saturday morning for those that don't get off work till 5 o'clock, and it worked out real good. Our cost, I think I checked with Julie, was around $3,000. And I would, if the mayor would let us, I would like to do that again this year.
What's the rest of the council think?
Great idea.
That probably saves us money in the long run, doesn't it, Dave? I mean, spend the time and money you guys go around and collect that stuff off the streets.
And the wear and tear on the vehicles and the wear and tear on every other piece of equipment we use, so,
And the employees.
yeah. It's a heavy, you get a lot of, excuse me, but you get a lot of landlords that will set out the whole house full of stuff, and that's not what this is all about, but we get that when we pick it up ourselves, and my people don't need to be doing that kind of stuff. The landlord's responsibility, Tom sees it just like I do. So I think it's a good idea, they bring it themselves, you know, they had to put some effort and time into it to do it, so let them.
The other thing is, for about 2 weeks before and a week after, there's trash laying all over town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will say it, about 3
Yeah.
weeks.
That's where I'm getting into the landlords. When you see that, that's pretty much what's happened. They've emptied out a house.
But,
So if that's something you want to do, we're thinking about what weekend.
is that okay with you, Mayor, with Board of
Yeah,
Public Works?
I-
Okay. I was
I'll
looking.
take it to them. I told them, since there was
Okay.
money involved here, I didn't want to do it until,
Well, I checked with you on our budget, and we're okay. We're still giving, something back to our residents. I was thinking maybe the 24th of April on a Friday, and that's Saturday morning, the 25th. Well, what we call Free Friday. Then I'll work with John Palsy and get it on TV3 and the newspaper, because there is restrictions, because people don't understand what general household trash is.
that weekend anything special.
The railroad has the Boy Scouts in here and I'm not sure, there's some street closures in that area, the south end of
Okay.
town.
I wasn't aware of that.
They're expecting over 500 young men
I
from
wasn't aware of
Cincinnati
that. I'm
and
glad you told me that.
northern Kentucky.
What are they doing here?
They earn merit badges at the railroad.
Oh, they'll all be
Okay.
down at the railroad.
Yeah, they'll be in that area.
A lot of times they take the little cars and put 2 or 3 boys in it. They go down toward Alpine, that direction, and back and forth, those little railroad vehicles.
Yeah, they line us up by the
Yeah.
Molly's Lake and the
So
transfer
I would say
station.
that might be part of what Friends.
That's the weekend that those
All right.
24th and 25th.
young men will be here, yes. I
Well,
believe.
the next weekend is first weekend in May, or?
Well,
Probably like May 1st and 2nd.
that's gonna be difficult on that, because I'm gonna have Shred Day the second Saturday. in
May 2nd? May
The
2nd?
2nd? What-
Yeah,
on
I'm
May
sorry, the
2nd?
second
Second
Saturday
Saturday.
in
That
May.
would be like the 9th then.
Yeah, the 9th, yeah. That's gonna be our free Shred Day.
What
I
about
tried to
the
do
1st
that.
and 2nd?
Oh,
May?
May.
Yeah, that would work in first weekend of May.
that'll work.
That gives people a couple
Yeah,
weeks,
I'll give
good
an
couple weeks to
opportunity. They can save their
get
stuff.
stuff.
Is that a Saturday, Friday and Saturday?
Be that
1st and
Friday and Saturday.
Well, it gives me time to take it to the Board of Works too, because they
Yes,
should approve
that's
it.
the reason I want to ask you that, yeah.
May, so you want to change that to May?
Yeah, Brian, thank you. I
You're
wasn't
welcome,
aware
Tom,
of that,
yes.
May
yeah.
1st and
The
2nd.
first and second.
And
for
then
the Free
Shred
Friday.
Day is going to be
Shred Day is the
9th.
9th, and I
Second
tried to have
Saturday.
that the last 3 years on the second Saturday of May. And we do the same thing in October for the Shred Day.
Everybody want to spend that money? About $3,000-4,000 to haul that stuff over to Caldwell's?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
You mean to go around the houses and pick?
No,
it up?
no, no. We're gonna
Oh,
have
the other one, sure.
No, it's
I see no problem with that.
About 3 loads.
All right, I'm going to take that to Board of Works for approval then.
Thank you.
We got the dates. Anything under miscellaneous business, Ruby?
No, thank you.
Tom?
No, that's what I had. Thank you very much.
Well, I wanted to congratulate Brenda Kunkel. Her painting, the Indiana Winter, has been hung in the Lieutenant Governor's office at the State House. And I just wanted to say congratulations to Brenda.
I got a couple things. John, where are we at with that trail? I hear we're having movement.
I've heard the same.
I can tell. You mean the trail up there?
Well, we got the actual deeds yet to move forward with it?
Well, Jane from the Abstract Company is now working on it full-time. And she's advised the committee and the mayor that the city now owns the property by quitclaim deed.
You told me.
That's her opinion. I haven't done a title search. I haven't, and I'm not gonna give a title opinion on it without getting into it in much more detail. I would prefer warranty deeds, but that's not gonna happen, so. Title's not warranted, but there's not a lot of money being put into it as far as what could be put into it. It's gonna be done with in-house help, and I think it's gonna be primarily some asphalt, isn't it, Mayor?
Well, there's, I want to say 5 or 6 properties that's in question. Jane said that the city owned all of them, and it was okay. And then they couldn't find the paperwork for 5 or 6. So they went back to the state, and I think at this point, the state says they have it, but they're not sure where they have it, and they're supposed to be getting it to us. So there's some properties up there we're not sure about yet. The plan was, again, we're getting a grant for, and amount of money, I better not say the amount, which would buy the blacktop. I talked to Phil, and we would have our own people blacktop the thing. If we're thinking right, underneath that rail ought to be about 12, 14 inches of stone and rock, so we should have a good base. I talked to county about using their dozer. We don't have a bulldozer. And of course, I've got a guy that can run a bulldozer. You don't have a bulldozer either, do you? We would run the bulldozer up and down there, and it'd just be a straight piece of asphalt 8 feet wide. We'd come down through there, and I've got the asphalt paid for.
Awesome.
Was hoping we could do that this year. It's got to happen pretty quick, because we got to have the college kids to do the mowing and help us clean it up. But I'm told right now there's 5 or 6 pieces of property that are still in limbo. Jane says that the city owns them. That's not a problem, but they can't find the paperwork.
And then we got a name for it here too, is that correct?
I've heard 2 names. What did you hear?
Well, I've heard a couple names myself.
CSX Trail,
I've heard Nickel Plate.
Nickel Plate Trail. It's got a nice ring to it. That would take the trail from 32nd all the way up to the creek. Still don't get you over to Walmart, but
Yeah. So it's a start. Another thing too, in a meeting recently, I met with some folks, and there was some discussion about maybe adding a bike trail down Western, but wasn't sure the width on that.
I asked the police chief to investigate that, and they measured the street today, right? What'd you find out?
I don't have the exact footage, but Western Avenue gets wider up the northern part, like above 24th Street, but narrows down. And it's supposed to be 4 foot wide as a bike trail. And if you, I can get the figures for you for the next meeting, no problem. But that would be awful dangerous for somebody on a bicycle and that sort of. I don't agree with it myself. I think it's just a disaster waiting to happen.
That's fine. I've heard it as.
I hate to differ with you, but my daughter goes to the University of Louisville. Those streets are so narrow down there, and they got a bike trail right down the middle. And you got traffic on both sides. I go down through there and I think, oh my God.
This is Connersville.
It's two-way. Bicycles ride the same in Connersville.
Yeah,
as
but
do
they
in
hate
Louisville.
golf, people in golf carts here. Yeah, they hate people in golf carts here. Like, if you're on the road, they're gonna hit you.
So are you telling us you don't want to do it or you want to do it?
That's up to the council. I don't think we should do it. I think it's the streets aren't designed for it. I don't think they're wide enough. Because it works someplace else, don't need me, it's gonna work here. Cell phones don't work half the time here. I don't think, if whole Western Avenue was as wide as it is up in the 2400 block on up to 30th Street, that'd be one thing, but it's not.
Well, we could put it from 24th just to 30th. I mean, would it fit there?
Well, where are they gonna go down? I mean,
They could go down a side street or something. I
well,
mean,
yeah, that's up to the council.
You can ride a bike, you know.
That's my opinion. You wanted it, and I give it to you. That's it. I'll get you the figures, or get you the measurements of the streets.
Well, I'm going to have that street painted as soon as the weather gets decent because everybody's going every which way on it. But
I've got the paint ready.
How are we doing with the trucks and stuff going down Western Avenue?
well, there's one slips by there every once in a while. But, have you made any arrests over there on Western Avenue with trucks going down through there?
Nope. In fact, most everything that we've been watching is local traffic, local trucks going, to and from or whatever.
The companies are all aware of it, and I think they told all their providers, don't come down there, unless you're delivering, don't come down there. I think they're obeying it pretty good. I noticed the cement trucks are going around the truck route.
Let's say at the bridge.
Are you satisfied with that, or you
Yeah,
want
that's
us to
fine.
go further with that?
if it'll fit, it'll great. If it doesn't, then, I mean, it's something we could talk about later if we add numbers. I mean,
I'll get the figures for you.
Okay.
I had two other things too.
Okay.
One thing I wanted to mention is had a young lady in FFA get the Star District Farmer Award. Name's Isabel Weiler, and it's the first time in over 20 years anybody's got that from Connersville, so that's pretty awesome. And then also, on something that I'm sure you're excited about, is the plant sale is May 8th and 9th, and the flowers are coming along really nice. They look beautiful out there. We actually just took a bunch of flowers off of them the other day so that they look all pretty for the plant sale. So May 8th and 9th will be the plant sale.
I'd like to keep that as quiet as possible.
That probably won't happen.
You got anything else, Gabe?
That's it.
You look different tonight, Dick.
Shaving.
You look younger.
I do it every Friday.
Brandon, you got anything under miscellaneous?
Just wondering about the demolition of the houses that we received the grant for. Are we pretty close to
We
bidding
took,
it?
we bought the houses at the commissioner's sale. That's been done. We have
120 days.
120 days we have to wait after we buy them.
Okay.
Do an environmental study on each one of them. And then you're probably looking at August or September to tear them down.
Oh, okay.
Have to take bids and tear them down. That's all being done with that grant we got from the federal government.
Okay, thanks. That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
I have nothing.
Okay.
Both my things got answered about the lines on Western and the trucks.
Did you want them or not want them?
What, well, the lines, I was just wondering when they were gonna get painted.
That was hard to paint in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Clerk Treasurer's report.
You have copies of the fund balances, if anybody has any questions.
Anything else? Anybody want to ask any questions? Public forum.
Can I do this with,
Should have done it before, but that's okay.
I know, I did it this afternoon late too. Starting next Monday, we're gonna start yard waste pickup. And we'll do it on the 13th. And then after the 13th, the first Monday of the month, we'll start doing it in the rest of the summer. We'll see how that works out. But to jumpstart everybody, we're gonna do it next Monday, the 13th. And then after that, we'll go back to the first Monday of the month.
Describe yard waste so we don't have.
Yard waste is leaves, grass, clippings, anything that way. Sticks, if they're in bundles of 4 foot long and somewhat secured so we can pick them up and they don't go everywhere. And, but no trash, it's just yard waste that off your gardens and off your flowers and what have you that way around your
But it
yard.
has to be in a bin or in a
Yes,
trash
yes,
bag,
it has to
not
be in a
just
trash
leaves
bag.
right to
Yeah,
the
you
curb.
can't just rake it to the curb because we don't get the machinery out to pick it up that way. It's gotta be so we can pick it up by hand. Any questions about it? And we're starting to get hot patch now, so we're going full blast on that now, so.
Yeah, if you have potholes in your district, call over at the street department and tell them, I try to find as many as I can, and I'm calling over there all the time, but if it's in your district, kind of watch when you drive around, okay?
And we write them down and we'll take care of them. Also, we've fixed 35 streetlights in town, so Duke did that for us, so we got a list. And the ones on the field, I'm having those fixed now. We bought light bulbs for them last week, and we're getting those fixed now too. We can't do it ourselves, and Duke won't do them, it's not theirs, so I have another guy that's gonna do it at a reasonable price, so.
Fuzzy Lake always fixed those for us, of course,
Right.
you know, he went on a business, so we had to find somebody to fix those.
So I gotta get the guy half the price of Fuzzy to do it, and it worked out good. Thank you.
Dave, is the street sweeper still,
Yeah, I was up running, we used it a lot today on the south end of town. Integrity and down through there, it was a mess, and we're trying
it was
to.
the dust bowl?
Yeah, we're
wasn't it?
trying to, yeah, that thing with water and the dirt, it makes a lot of mud. And if it's not making mud, it's making dust, so we have a lot of catching up to do. We didn't use it at all last year, and we're behind, really are.
Well, I know we have, you know, with the, put a lot of sand and rock
And a lot
down
of it's
in
from
the,
winter ago, too.
two winters ago, yeah.
So,
Well, I know, I challenge every homeowner, I went out on one of the nice days and took like 15 minutes and literally like swept in front of my house.
so you ought to be able to do
And-
Western then in 6.7 hours.
But you know, I mean, it only took 15, 20 minutes, you
Yeah.
know, and it really did make a lot of difference.
So we're trying to catch up with that, so, okay? As long as it keeps running.
Did I ask you about miscellaneous?
Yes.
You guys got nothing? Public forum, anybody else want to speak? we're gonna close this down. None appearing, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A second? All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.